Hello and welcome back to the Project Rise Rising Stars podcast. My name is Tyler Scott, one of the peer mentors for Harlan Community College's Project Rise. It is my absolute privilege to be able to host this podcast again, and today is a special edition of the podcast. We have our very own Maria Abonado with us, our Associate Director for Project Rise Peer Support Services, and she will be actually leading us in a podcast today for autism awareness. So I have two other people today who we'll be talking with, and let's go ahead and get started. So take it away, Maria.
Thanks, Tyler. I'm very excited to host today. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about you guys and just autism awareness and acceptance in general. So my first question to you guys would be, how would you describe your autism in your own words?
Yeah, you go.
Hi, I'm Julia Lahr. I am a peer mentor at Project Rise, and I would describe my being autistic as just kind of embedded in my being. It can't be separated from who I am. It's similar to how my eye color is blue. I am a fierce advocate for my friends, and I'm also a little bit hot-headed sometimes. And I'm also autistic. It's just who I am.
I love that. Thanks for sharing.
For me, it would be it's part of my character. Like, I don't think I would be the same as who I was if I didn't have it. It's definitely made life challenging, but like I use it like almost to my advantage because being autistic has its perks. And like I would describe it as like a ball of like I would describe it as like maybe not a ball of energy, but maybe as like a I don't know how to describe it per se, besides just like it's just there. It's not a person, it's not personified in any way. It's just like enhances who I am. There we go.
Yeah. What about you, Ethan?
Yeah, so obviously I have not fully prepared for this podcast, but my name is Ethan Freitag. I'm a student here at Heartland Community College. I guess I could just first start out as like describing my experience being autistic. Is it on?
Yeah, just
You gotta come
Go
closer.
to
A
the
little,
close.
little
Yeah.
distant, okay. So I guess a way to describe my experience with being autistic is I'm I'm a really good advocate for I've been prepared
that's
but-
okay.
but yeah, I'm a really good. I mean, I'm a really good advocate. I always try to ask questions and talk to my try to communicate with my peers and my teachers whenever I can. I've also been complimented by like in high school because I would always ask like when assignments are due or just preparing for events.
You like to know all of the knowledge that you can.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that's excellent.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. One of the other things that I was curious about is what are some misconceptions about autism that you see kind of either perpetuated by media or real life experiences and how that affects you guys?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I see is that autism only affects young white boys or that it is something that you grow out of. We hear a lot about autistic children, and there should be a lot of support for autistic children. However, that support isn't really translated into when those autistic children become autistic adults.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a very big lapse in care and a huge misconception that you just grow out of it.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Does anyone have anything to go off of on that?
I guess like another misconception that I've heard would be that I've heard that autism was a disease, and I'd say like that's a very big misconception, because it's not like it's not something that physically like disables us, or it's like it limits us. It's just like a describe this like it having autism is basically like a different brain. You think differently, you process information differently. So really calling it a disease is really just not even just enough to explain it, but more just kind of like derogatory.
Mm-hmm. And harmful to
Yes.
those who have it.
Repeat the question again, Maria, please.
Yeah,
I low-key forgot it.
that's okay. What are some misconceptions about autism that you see either perpetuated by media or that you have experienced in real life?
Oh, I would say like how it's portrayed is like not every autism is the same.
Yeah.
People might be super high functioning where you can't even tell, because people like think autism and think, oh, like you have to be like flapping your arms, or you have to be like doing something extravagant or like out of the ordinary behaviorally. When really that's not the case. Like for me, it just affects my learning and like fixated interests and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and sometimes social behaviors. But like other than that, like at least in like my experience, like I've been around those who are lower functioning than I am, and I've been around those who are like you can't even like tell that they have it. Like
Mhm.
people, when I tell people that I have it, they're like, "What? You're autistic? Like I had no idea. Like you don't look autistic." I'm like, "I'm not your stereotypical autism." Everyone like has like that stereotypical like, "Oh, you have to like meet a certain criteria," when really that's not the case at all.
Mm-hmm. And that's only further, I guess, perpetuated by what we share in media, and also just a lack of education on the topic.
Absolutely.
So, going off of that, how can neurotypical people become better allies to individuals with autism and spread a more positive message about it?
I can go first on this one. When it comes to like talking about how neurotypicals can, like also like coming alongside of us and like not just judging us for not knowing something, or like actually taking the time to walk with us through something, and like being patient in that has really like will actually really be beneficial, because a lot of people just expect you, or teachers in general or professors in general just want you to get it the first time. But in reality, like that's not the case. That's not how autistic brains work. Like we learn through repetition, we learn through like a lot of like doing the same like thing, and some of us aren't really taught how to study or how to do anything. So like to be able to like teach us in moments where like we're struggling with something is really beneficial for that person to come alongside us and be like, okay, I see you, I know I know that you are like struggling with this, so let me help you, instead of just expecting you to figure it out on your own, is really huge. Advocacy is key, especially in the classroom or in social situations in general, instead of calling that person like a mentally R word. Like say like, okay, like they're just different than everyone else.
I definitely agree with that. Like to add on to that as well, autistic people do tend to ask a lot of questions, and that kind of like adds into like that repetition and how we learn, because well, that's one of the thing, and that's one of um, that's actually something that has surfaced for me. Like I ask a lot of questions. People say like you're asking too many questions, but really that's me trying to learn my own environment, and I hope that you guys would agree as well, because um, that's something that I do a lot. It's learning by repetition.
I agree with that, both of your points. And I think the biggest part of allyship for and advocacy for any marginalized group is listening and being willing to learn, and especially listening when you're told that you're wrong.
Yes.
And kind of getting past that default to ego that I think we as humans naturally go to. I think a big part of it is just learning from autistic people and letting autistic people take the stand and advocate for ourselves, because we are very capable of doing so. I think there has been a history throughout any type of disabled group of being spoken over and being told how to feel.
Yes.
And I think a big part of what neurotypicals and just non-disabled people can do in general is letting us speak for ourselves.
That's so good.
Am I? Oh, okay. No, I think that's a great point, because a lot of the times from what I see, it's almost, this idea is almost put on autistic people that they can't understand certain things, or that they're not smart enough or not whatever enough to be able to speak for themselves and succeed in whatever they want to and achieve their goals. So I love that.
And I think, like, to add on to that real quick, it's also not just people who have like lower support needs. Like people who have higher support needs, like autistics who have higher support needs, can also advocate for themselves, and if given the tools such as like a AC device, or however they want to communicate, can and do advocate for themselves. So it's, I think a big part of it is just like assuming competence, assuming that a person has competency and has autonomy over themselves is a big step in disability justice.
Yeah,
Totally.
I love that. And just being open to understanding what you don't understand. I think a lot of times, like you said earlier about the ego, like people can get frustrated or feel less than for just accepting that they don't understand something. And especially when it's something that they can't understand, because it's that they don't have the same brain. Like it's not something that they can physically put themselves into, but they can try to if they are open and willing to listen and learn. So
Yeah. And you don't know until you know.
Literally. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, the last question that I have for you guys is probably the one I'm most excited to hear about. But what advice would you give to your younger self?
That's such a good question.
Oh.
Who wants to go
Oh
first?
my gosh. Wow. I'm gonna cry.
Oh no, emotions are high.
Okay. I can go first. One thing that I would say would be like, don't let the opinion of other people like make you change or want to change or let it sink into who you are, because what they're saying does not change who you are. you can like what you like. It doesn't matter what they think of you. Like, because like I was assumed gay. I was assumed all these other things just because I was different than everyone else. Like, and my fixated interest of trains was viewed as weird to a lot of my peers. So much so that like in like third grade, they were like I was bullied hardcore from like second grade to third grade because of just people being like ignorant and young and all the things and not fully developed so they didn't understand. So like being able to like tell my younger self like, hey, don't listen to what they say. Like listen to the advice your close friends are giving you now. Because like it will literally get you through. And there are good things coming. Because a lot of us as autistic people are told that we're never be more than a bagger in a grocery store. Like we're never be more than like this low income, like low, like whatever, like job because of where we stand in society. But knowing that autism has no limits, autism has no limitations. We can be just as the neurotypical people, if not like not. I don't want to use the word better, but if not like actually making an impact on society. Like I'm about to graduate with my bachelor's in like literally like a month, and like I never thought that I would be able to do that when I was younger. Like I thought I was gonna be done after high school.
And you
But
did
no.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Um, I think being a girl, I definitely slipped through the cracks, so I wasn't diagnosed until my teenage years. Um, and I struggled a lot with that when I was first diagnosed, with like feeling overlooked or like wondering why no one saw things that looking back were so obvious when it comes to like my autism. So I think I would tell my younger self that like there's nothing wrong with you, and I felt very lonely because of that.
Absolutely.
And I think the advice I would give to her would just be keep being weird, just keep being a little oddball, and you'll figure it all out eventually. I don't think I would have changed any of it, but because it got me to where I am today.
Good word.
But
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Ethan?
Well, I can definitely see I can definitely see like a pattern like between the two of us, like talking about like not worrying about what other people think of us. I mean, and then telling that to our younger selves. Um, I personally had a hard time. I'm like hard on myself, so so then I can be like the best person that I could be. Um, so, but I do kind of forget like sometimes I do kind of forget like I do have a disability. While um, there are a few limitations. It's still I can still overcome those. So like perfect grades or I don't know, having a conversation with someone like perfectly, like those don't matter because at the end of the day, like we're just as human as like the average neurotypical person. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what I think. Like when I hear you guys talk about it, like it's just like, so if I were to tell my younger self like kind of like what you guys said, don't worry about like what other people think of you. You just do the best you can.
Yeah. I mean, life is hard enough as it is, just in general, just to live, survive, and, go to school and navigate childhood into your teenagehood, into your adulthood. Like, life is hard enough. And so, um, it's sad hearing you guys talk about how, like, you putting pressure on yourself or listening to others opinions or negative thoughts about you and how that impacted you. So I'm sorry to your younger selves. I'm glad to see that you are all where you are today. You guys make me so proud. Yeah, I think everything that you guys said, it does resonate with me a lot, even as somebody who is neurotypical. Partially. But like, yeah, life is hard enough. And so like, telling yourselves like, don't be so hard on yourself and put that pressure on yourself and let other people's opinions affect you. Because in reality, all people have their nuances and, they're what'd you say, your oddball activities. Like we're all a little weird. So, but yeah, I just thank you guys for being so vulnerable and sharing a bit of your journeys and experiences here. And I am going to pass it off to Tyler to close out this podcast.
Well, thank you very much, Maria, for leading us today. And I am just thrilled that we got to be able to talk about this today because it's so needed to be able to talk about autism awareness, and just because not everyone knows what it is and not everyone knows that it's a spectrum. It's not just a finite like thing that you can just put a label on. No, it's a whole spectrum, and not a puzzle piece trying to fit into society, but individual like infinity symbols that are part of weaving into society, because we don't have to blend in like chameleons. We stand out in a good way, and advocacy is key. So thank you all so much for tuning into this this year of the podcast, and I look forward to being with you all next month in May. Join us next time on the Rising Star Podcast.